What's happening, Elevation Nation? We are back yet again for another episode of Fortitude in 15. Sam, what's happening? We are now in the thick of fall, and already my Baltimore Ravens are making me really upset. It's different year, same story.
Parker, you guys had that. I don't understand why you are so good yet love to lose. It might be more stressful than being a Bears fan. At least we just are good at losing. You're bad at losing. Like, you lose in the worst ways. So I was feeling for you all morning, man, when I saw the highlights. I did not stay up. I went to bed at halftime. I was like, I think this game's going to be over. Want to get a good night's sleep. Boy, do I regret that. I'm so sorry about your Ravens. But hopefully, long season left. Football's back, baby. It's fall. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's crazy to feel like I was texting some people after the game. It felt like a playoff loss, but we need to remind ourselves that it's week one. There's a long way to go. So it felt like it definitely. It was a low blow. So we'll see where they end up as the week and year progresses. But speaking of year progressing, September is always a special time for you. Not only because it's the start of the fall, but it is your birthday. So this episode in particular is going to be all around you turning a very special 30 birthday. You're 30 now, dude. How's it feeling?
It's a very loaded question. I feel good. I feel like I know where my life is at. I know where it's headed. I know the things that I care about. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I have a great routine. I have a great friend group. I have great family. Like, things are going great. But when you say 30, that feels very fake to me. I do not know where the time went. I don't know how I turned 30. Even saying it makes me feel weird and old. And I don't know. I felt this very much so back at experience camps, Parker. You and I, as we speak around the country to all these young people, and we have been the young guys at the firm, at our full-time jobs, I felt very relatable. We're young. We get the trends. We might not be the hippest guys, but we get it. We know sports. We know fashion. We know music. We know what's going on. I have no fucking idea what's going on anymore. I am old. I am washed up. I don't know the trends. Things are changing, and it's just different. I think last year we heard a lot of lingo that I'd never heard before. Sigmas and alphas and betas and stuff I just didn't know what that meant. So I don't know. We got to be more on TikTok, learn these trends, keep up with the brain rot of the kids, because I'm feeling 30, man.
Well, I can tell you that keeping up with the kids is never a good sign. It's really showing your age here. And for purposes, I don't give a crap about understanding any of that stuff. But I'm sure being in camp definitely made me feel old. You turning 30, now having the 3 in front of the 0 rather than the 2, I'm sure is a crazy thought. And I'm coming up on 30 as well. So it is a crazy perspective. And I'm curious from your end, Sam, we built this podcast and Elevation Nation all around navigating young adulthood, focusing on your 20s. And so I want you to reflect a little bit on your 20s with our new way that we think about purpose. And I want you to give us some wins from your 20s and give us maybe one or two that you're reflecting really wholeheartedly on and how you bring that into 30s.
Yeah, it's funny, Parker. When we first started Elevation Nation at 24, 25, I remember working with one of our mentors, Rich Keller, on, Elevation Nation's going to need to evolve with you guys. You don't always want to be talking college or recent graduates. And now that time is here. We're not recent graduates. We're not just coming off of college. We're not talking to just new interns and hires. We're talking about being authentically yourself as a young person in your life, in the corporate world, in your personal life, as you build a business, and just who you are. And so I'm very proud of, obviously, what we've built and what we've done. It's given me certainly a passion outlet, Parker, this past decade of working on something with you. I think it's strengthened our friendship. I've learned a hell of a lot. And I think the coolest thing when I look back on this last decade are the relationships and people that I've met and made. The podcast has unlocked incredible friendships across the globe. my full-time job, my friendship with you, us traveling around the world. We've met some really incredible people. I think to all the places that I've been able to go in my 20s. My 20s is where I fell in love with travel and experiencing other cultures and seeing the world from a different perspective. And so I'm grateful for that. And I think I'm most grateful for the struggles. My early 20s were really not great for me. I reached a pretty dark point in my life, felt a lot of depression and didn't feel like myself. And not only have I come out of that, I feel so confident in who I am and what I bring to the table now, more so than I have all the answers. I think I was always worried in my 20s about finding the answers. Well, what are we going to build Elevation Nation into? How am I going to be successful? What's my career look like? Who's my spouse going to be? What city am I going to end up in? Trying to find those answers. And instead now I'm leaning so much more on the fact that the skills that I have, the relationships that I have, and what I've built as a foundation to this day will help me make those decisions and navigate as the opportunities arise. And so a little bit more surrendering to the universe and trusting what I've built and where I'm headed. I feel good, man.
I love how you describe that. You know, you looked at your wins, you looked at all the things that you're proud of, you're happy about, building what we've been able to build together, both with Elevation Nation and your professional job, the life that you've created for yourself in DC, and then to your point about your 20s are all focused on travel and your understanding of your love for travel. And I think that's a huge win because you know how much that makes you proud, how much that makes you. And then you dove into my next part, which was your wounds, the challenges that you faced, and those things that kind of brought difficulty and challenge to your life. And I think, wounds are huge in how you understand your purpose, because you have to get real with them. Being human is about experiencing pain and challenges. We know no one goes unscathed. And so I love how you described some of those challenges. I'm curious, how are you looking at, how are you looking at challenges now as you know that they're not going to go away? There's going to be more pain. There's going to be more suffering. Now that you're in your 30s, do you have like a way that you ready to approach that inevitable wounds that you're going to face?
God, that's a really good question. I don't know how to answer that. Let me just dive in, I guess, with what's coming to my mind. I think I have a fear of the inevitable pain that I'm going to face, right? Grandparents' deaths, parents losing a job, breakups, makeups, everything in between, right? All the pain that you feel as a human. And so where I've really tried to focus is enjoying and spending time with those people that I love. I think, Parker, you know this. I go home and I see my parents a lot. Every couple months, I try to get back to Savannah and see my parents. And then you also know I try to see my grandma all the time in her mid to late 90s, trying to get back there as much as I can and just trying to value that family time while you have it. So that's been something for me that I think I've emphasized in my 20s, maybe more than other people. A lot of times I think maybe family or visiting family gets put on the back burner, but Parker, you guys showed me how important that family is. And you never know when crazy stuff happens. So that's one thing that I'm trying to work on. My mindset, of course, I'm getting sharper in realizing that the inevitable pain of life will happen. I hope I'm strong enough to get through it. I know I have the resources and the people all around me that are strong enough to get through it. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's not really something you can fully prepare for and feel until you get into it, From what I'm seeing is like the way you think about wounds or the inevitable pain that you're going to face is around losing people that you love. What about like the things that are less intense, like the pains that you feel when you're not feeling fulfilled at work? Or maybe when you walk out your door in DC and you just have some anxiety because life is, you're not feeling good one way. What about that approach that you're taking now in your 30s compared to your 20s? Yeah, I think it's a good one. Trying to not put my identity fully into one part of my life. For a long time, my job equated to who I was and how I felt every single day. I'm so much more than that. And same for, if a friend moves, right? I had some struggles with that this past year. Trying not to put all my weight into one friendship and knowing that it can still extend longer has been important for me. But I think that's just life, man. And as you get older, my dad always used to joke with me. Parker, my dad. One of the most patient, calm guys I've ever met. Nothing really seems to rattle him very much. And I had always joked with him growing up. Even now in my 20s, I'd say, Dad, I don't know if I'm ever going to be as calm as you. Like, you don't let things impact you and you're just still positive and go with the flow. And he laughs and he says, when I was your age, things used to upset me too. And I realized it doesn't matter. It's not important. And so I always said, I don't know, maybe I'm not like you. Maybe I won't feel that. I've felt that as I've gotten older. Trying not to let things bother me anymore has been really important. There are so many crazy things that happen in life. Only spend and waste your energy on things that really impact you. Otherwise, just roll with the flow, man.
Roll with the flow. Man, put that on a t-shirt. Maybe that's your new mental motto or something.
Roll with the flow, baby.
It's funny, like my TikTok algorithm recently has been very like motivational focused, and it's not always that Elevation Nation. Like, even though Sam and I have a motivational mindset forward podcast, like that's not all we consume. I like to also rot on dumb things as well. But it's funny that you brought that up, because I felt as if in one video I came across, like someone was really saying that they were struggling and trying to figure out like there's a solution to their anxiety. Like there's solutions. Like there's a world where that anxiety never comes. And I completely disagreed with that. Even if, you are who you are. Maybe there is no cure or solution to anxiety, but there's better ways to cope with it. You learn what works for you. And I think as an observer of Sam from 20s to now 30, you're still feeling that anxiety. A lot of it's rooted in the same things, but I think you have better ways to now cope with it. You have better routines in place, better systems to help you get through those challenges. And I think that's part of maturing and growing as a human. And so when those wounds come, you look back and you're like, wow, I went through that. But now I have a better way to process and go through when I know that thing might come again, or that new thing might inevitably come your way. But lastly, I want to talk on the third part of the conversation, which I find so amazing in a time where authenticity, I feel like, is going away. And that's weird. What makes you you? What makes your quirks and your uniqueness? That's your differentiator. So let's talk about that for a second. I know we're going a little over Fortitude and 15, but how do you use your weird, Sam, as your strength now that you're in your 30s?
Love doing what I want to do. It's something that I think, you and Miles talk about a story from college where you all did one thing and I went and I did another thing because I wanted to do it more. And I think as I've gotten older, I've hung true to that even more. But I think the biggest thing that is maybe my weird that I'm working on now, Parker, is all the things on my bucket list in my mind that were either things I was waiting for a partner to do, or these big events that will let me know I made it. I'll give you a couple examples. One, I love to eat good food and eat healthy. And I remember when I was a kid thinking, if I could buy any food I want in Whole Foods all the time, eat as healthy as I want, I will have made it. I'm financially secure. I'm at that point. I don't often shop at Whole Foods, but I went yesterday. It was great. I got some cool stuff that I don't normally get, right? Going to the farmer's market alone. No headphones. Just listen. The sounds of the farmer's market. Find fresh foods, vegetables. I love that. That totally fills up my cup. And then challenging myself to do more things by myself as a solo Sam day, as I like to call them. Just helping me embrace being with me. Hopefully, if I do this thing right, it's some of the only points in my life where I will fully be alone, right? I'll have a partner, I'll have kids, I'll do my thing. Right now, I want to embrace that time of being alone as much as I possibly can. And then, all the other weird things. I'm a freak when it comes to my morning routine. I've been doing a new thing, Parker, doing hydrogen water with lemon juice, turmeric, and cardamom in the morning as my morning drink. Love it. What else did we get that's weird? Just started using coconut colt for my stomach. So we'll see if that helps. Shout out Emily Billings. Put me onto that one. See if it helps my stomach problems. We're just trying new things, man. Now we're experimenting with life.
Is that that gross yogurt?
It actually tasted pretty good. I love coconuts, though.
I do, too. It's bizarre taste. It feels like I'm eating poison.
You are.
Stomach.
You're eating bacteria.
Yeah,
it's good for you, buddy.
Like, I don't mind it. The thought of it is worse than the actual taste. I love that. You know, you definitely have your weird quirks. You lean into them. You definitely are. You don't let anyone tell you that your quirks are. I mean, people tell you, and you're just like, I don't care. That's always been you. I'm excited for us to continue to dive into these 3 pillars now that we're really focusing on, which is your wins, your wounds, and your weird, and how that brings your authentic you out even more so that you can live a life of elevation. And so, Elevation Nation, we're still talking about mental fortitude and pushing through challenging times, adversity, so you can go conquer the real world. But we have a new way that I think you're going to be able to go about that, and that's through bringing out your authentic you. And Sam's 30-year-old birthday episode will be the start of how we continue to talk about helping you bring out your authentic you. With that, Elevation Nation, enjoy your Thursday in September. The weather's still beautiful. Take it all in, because soon enough, it's going to get brisk and cold up here in the Northeast. Till next
I bought
week.
a Fitbit. If anyone's got tips on my Fitbit, let me know. All right, till next week. Peace.